Yorana. Most of you have probably heard of the famous Heiva I Tahiti. So a lot of questions come from this because we can see in the name that it's in Tahiti, right? I Tahiti. But Heiva, what is Heiva? A lot of people will describe it as a dance competition in Tahiti. Well, they're not wrong because the dance competition that's held in Tahiti, the Heiva I Tahiti, is actually a dance competition between groups from all over Tahiti and from all over the islands that come to compete for the best dance group or soloist, right? But is that all the Heiva is? The Heiva is much more than this. The Heiva is an opportunity to connect to the ancestors of the past and to tap into those traditions and relive those traditions and tell those traditions all over again. The customs, the tradition, and everything that makes up the history of the Tahitian French Polynesia or Polynesian Islands. It's a chance to highlight those traditions and the identity of the Maui people. So how do they do this? They do this through festivities, through cultural ceremonies such as the rahi. You'll never attend a Heiva I Tahiti without witnessing the rahi. They also, at this time, it's the whole island just celebrates this time. And one of the ways that they celebrate is by doing traditional games such as the heavy rock lifting or the javelin throwing or running through the street with those fruits tied onto a long bamboo or banana tree trunk, right? So beyond all of these games and celebrations and just times of festivities, you will also find the dance that takes place at Tuata. And the dance is really a special highlight of the event because if you remember, the dance, if we relate it to today's form, is a form of writing. There was no written language or even a written history in Tahitian culture. So the dance was their way to write, to tell, to carry on the history and the story of what Tahiti was. From one generation to the next, this was passed down through story, through legends. And how did they tell this? Through songs, through dance, through costume making, through designs that they put on the costume. So of course this dance competition is the perfect opportunity to highlight this. What are you learning when you're watching this dance? You're learning legends. Not only legends, people refer to legends as something that maybe happened or probably didn't happen, but a good story. No, this is more than just the legend of something that may have happened. This is a history shown to you in an art form. Also, it's shown in the songs they sing about all these events that happened in the past. This is a way of passing it to you, and hopefully you will pass it on to the next generation. So the dance is a great opportunity to learn about the history and culture of Tahiti through the legends they're telling through the dance. Not only through the dances and songs, but also through the costume making. A lot of times we get locked in on how beautiful the costumes are and what flowers they're using and what great vegetation they're using, shells and everything that goes into it, that we lose track of the fact that, remember, every dancer in Tahiti has to make their own costume. When they participate in the Heiva, each dancer makes their own costume, and thus, sending them back generations and transporting them into that time. When they're making a costume, it's the same as their ancestors that were making costumes centuries ago, hundreds of years ago, making those costumes. As you're making it, you're back in that time as your ancestors were making that costume. So they're learning and participating and becoming part of that tradition of teaching the next generation. Once you learn something, you can teach it to the next generation. And that's what the Heiva is. More than anything, it's an opportunity to keep this history, this culture alive for future generations. Next time you attend a Heiva, remember these key points and look out for them because you are the next person to pass it on to the next generation. I wish you happy Heivas in your future. And remember, keeping the Heiva alive is sharing the story. Watch the Heiva, take in the story, and share those stories with everyone. Happy Heiva!